Okay, in our today's class, still in our statistics class, we're going to discuss about the calculations in group data in arithmetic mean. That is calculation of group data, that is arithmetic mean of group data. So we have three questions here. So the three questions we have here are this. The first one, we have table here. The table is, that's the column here is age. So have 10 to 14, 15 to 19, 20 to 24, 25 to 29, 30 to 34, 35 to 39 years. These are the arrangement of years in this question. So we have frequency, number of people that have 10 to 14 years, the range, that is the total number is 30. Those that have 15 to 19 years, we have 20. Then that is how others have. So the question asks us to calculate, find the arithmetic mean age of this group of people. So see the table for that number one. The table, we have 4 columns in the table. The first one carries the age as given it in the question. The second one carries class mark, which immediately follows the class interval. This age shows the class interval. Now, the class mark, as I said in our previous class yesterday, is the other time to get class mark is addition of lower class limit plus upper class limit divided answer by 2 will give us a class mark. That is 10 plus 4, which is 24, divided by 2 give us 12. 15 plus 19 give us 34, divided by 2 give us 17. That is how we got others here. Now, that is how we get class mark from this class interval, which is now h. Frequency is already given in the question. Now, to get fx, we have a class mark, which is now x times frequency. We have this, that is 12 times 30 will give us 360. That is how we did others here. By 17 times 20 give us 340, 22 times 14 give us 330. And that is how the other remaining 3, like 378, 192, 185, that is how we got them. Then we add up the total of fx. We have 1,785. Then we sum up the frequency. We have 90. The formula for calculating the group data of this kind is given as summation x bar equals summation fx all over summation f. We now use the total of fx to substitute summation fx, that is 1,785, divided by the total of frequency, which is 90. When we divide, we have using 90 to divide 1,785, we have 19.8333, rounding to 3 decimal places. Knowing that someone's age cannot be in decimal as it is, we round it to the nearest whole number, giving us 20 years. Then this number is above 5, call it 1, add it here, it will give us 10. That is, call it 8, rounding, I'm rounding to the nearest year, nearest age. The next number here after this point is 8, call it, which is more than 5, call it 1, add it to 9 here, we have 10, we write 0 here, carry 1, add it to this 1, that is 19, then adding that 1 we brought here, we now have 2. That is how we got 20 years. That is all about number 1 question. Then when you come to number 2 question, we have the class interval is a mark. Then it ranges from 11 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, 51 to 60, 61 to 70. Then the frequency gives us the number of students that scored the marks. Those that scored from 11 to 20 marks, there are 4 students. Those that scored 21 to 30 marks, we have 6 students. Those that scored 31 to 40 marks, we have 10 students. This one is 6, then this one is 30. Those that scored 41 to 50, those that scored from 41 to 50 marks, total of the students 30. That of 51 to 60 marks, we have 26 students. Then the one of 61 to 70 marks, we have 24 students. So that is it. So the table here shows that we should calculate from the question using an assumed mean of 85.5%. We are asked to calculate the arithmetic mean mark. So in that number 2, see the solution to number 2. For us to prepare the calculation of number 2, first of all, we have assumed mean A given to us in the question. We have 85.5%. See the table for the calculation. The class mark which is given to us, that is class interval, is given to us, and it is being represented with marks in percent. As I explained in the question, we have them from 11 to 20 till we have to 61 to 70. Good. So we now have the next column after the class interval. We have class mark, which is obtained by lower class limit. This side we call the lower class limit in class interval. This side we call them upper class limit in class interval. To get class mark is lower class limit in each interval. Lower class limit plus upper class limit divided by 2 give us class mark. That is how we got the values under this class mark, which we use to represent x. Good. So the frequency is given to us in the question. So we have the frequency 4, 6, 10, 30, 26, 24. The total of the frequency when you add them up is 100. Good. Now, how do we get the next column, which is D? D means deviation from assumed mean. To get it, we say values of x minus assumed mean given in the question. That is how we now obtain the column of this D. The first value of x is 15.5 minus the assumed mean given 35.5. That is how we got minus 20. 25.5 minus 35.5 give us minus 10. 35.5 minus 35.5 give us 0. And that's how we got 10 by saying 45.5 minus 35, 10. That one is positive. These ones are negative. 55.5 minus 35.5 give us 20. And 65.5 minus 35.5 give us 30. That is how we arrive in this column. Now, we find the last column, which is FD, frequency times deviation from assumed mean. To get it, we multiply the column, the values in the frequency column by values in the D column. That's how we're going to get FD column. Now, to get it, we say 4 times minus 20 will give us minus 80. 6 times minus 8 will give us minus 6. 10 times 0 will give us 0. 30 times 10 will give us 300. 26 times 20 will give us 520. 24 times 30 will give us 720. Now, to get summation of D, total of D, minus 80 minus 60. That is adding minus 80 to minus 60 to 0 to 300 to 520 and 720. Adding everything up, we arrive at 1,400. How do we do that? First of all, adding this to this will give us minus. When we add this together, we keep them. We now add these ones together, we keep them. Whatsoever we get here, minus whatsoever we get here, because the total of this one will be lower than the total of this. We now say total of these three numbers minus total of this thing, which is a negative, will give us this value. Good. And that's how we arrive at 1,400. Now, in calculation, the formula for calculating the arithmetic mean of this kind is given to us as x bar equals a plus summation fd all over summation f. We now bring the value of assumed mean, which is 35.5, to replace a here, which is the assumed mean, plus the total of fd to replace summation fd, the total of f to replace summation f. When we do that, we now have 35.5 plus 1,004, 1,004, all over total of frequency, which is 100. The 0 will cancel, double 0 here, remaining 14. We now have 35.5 plus 14 remaining, will now give us 49.5%. So that is how we arrive at the arithmetic mean marks of the students in this calculation. So in the last question, we have number 3. The class interval is replaced with a weight. The unit of the weight here is kg. The ranges of the weight is from 10 to 19, 20 to 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, 60 to 69. They will now have the frequency. Those that have 10 to 19 kg, they are 7. Those that have 20 to 29 kg, they are 5. That is how others arrived. Good. The question now asks that using an assumed mean of 34.5 kg, we should find the arithmetic mean weight by using coded factor method. This question requires that we make use of coded factor. It is specifically stated, though the formula for calculating only the assumed mean without specifying coded factor can give us exactly the same answer. But this one specifies that we must follow coded factor method in calculating the arithmetic mean, having given us an assumed mean. Then we now come to the solution to number 3. In our solution to number 3, we have, this is how we prepare the table. First of all, we have the assumed mean A. We write it down, 34.5 kg as given to us in the question. Then the next one that will follow as constant observation here is class size C equals 10 kg. So both of them are in our calculating formula. So the table here, we have in the table, the first one, class interval, being replaced with a weight in kg. As I explained in the question, see them here, first column. Then the second column will be class mark. As usual, I taught them in the solution to number 1 and number 2. Lower class limit plus upper class limit divided by 2. That's how we got a class mark. Then frequency, the values are given to us in the question. Now you proceed. We get D. How do we get D? The formula is X minus A. The values of class mark here minus the constant A given to us. That is how we are going to arrive at the values in this column of D. Then the next column is U, which is coded factor. We remember that D is deviation from assumed mean. Then coded factor, we find it using the formula D over C. The values of D here divided by this constant C, 10. Now we have minus 20 divided by 10 give us minus 2. Minus 10 divided by 10 give us minus 1. Then 0 divided by 10 is 0. 10 divided by 10 is 1. 20 divided by 10 is 2. 30 divided by 10 is 3. That's how we arrive at this coded factor U. Now the last column in this table is FU, frequency times coded factor. The values of frequency, we have them here. Coded factor calculated, we have them here. 7 times minus 2 give us minus 14. 5 times minus 1, that is how we arrive at minus 5. 10 times 0 is 0. 33 times 1 is 33. 25 times 2 is 50. 20 times 3 is 60. Then, as usual, we add up the negative numbers. Minus 4, minus 14, plus minus 5 gives us minus 19. When we now add up this, we add up the total of this, 33 plus 50 plus 6, that's the 50 plus 6 will give us 110, plus 33 will give us 143, minus 19. That's how we arrive at 124. Now, the formula for calculating the coded factor method formula is x bar. Arithmetic mean calculation here is x bar equals a plus bracket summation fu all over summation f bracket c. We now replace the values. The value of a, as has been given to us in the equation, is 34.5, which we now replace it, plus the total of fu is 124, we replace. The total of frequency here is 100, we replace. Please don't misquote the value of 100 we have here and here. It's not constant, it's because of the values given to us. As you can see in the first one, we have 90. It depends on the value of the frequency that will determine the total frequency. Let's not be confused by saying, must it be 100 as total in the frequency? No, it is not. Just because of